Any comments from the board, from the council on the motion to deny, to recommend against?
I'm just going to put my no vote in to send a message that it's not a unanimous support for denial. However, as I told you, I would really be apprehensive about approving it at this point also, given my still questions about armed security and such that I offered up earlier. So I'm kind of with you, but I'm going to vote no to your motion.
Any other comments by the council?
Yes. This gentleman pointed out the lack of quality control, that you don't know what you're smoking or eating or what. I'm not even sure how you use this stuff. I'm the only person in California that's never tried it, I think. Anyway, the lack of quality control, I think, is really a serious concern.
Okay, the audience has a chance to weigh in on our motion to not recommend for this.
It's great, it's great. Good decision.
Gene?
I'm hearing a bunch of ayes as far as you're not representing your constituents.
I strongly urge you to vote for the motion that's been made to deny. This is the wrong place. It is. It's going to be a traffic hazard. It's really not the right place, and I agree that it's not right for the kids in the neighborhood.
I just wanted to comment on her quality control comment. The lack of quality control is exactly what they are trying to do for you. They get their product lab tested so that their consumer, which is a patient, knows exactly what is being consumed. Before they did this, it's exactly what you're saying. Nobody had any idea. You could look at a bud and try and guess at how much you're going to be consuming, but you have no idea at what concentrations each component will be in. That's what they're allowing you to do. And so everything that you're concerned about, they're trying to remedy. Work with them.
I just urge you, what's your personal choice of whether you're in favor of having medicinal marijuana or not? The subject is whether or not to have a dispensary at the location that it's being supposed. And I think you've heard a lot of people that are living right here, right in the backyard. Most of it, we do not want it. So stick to that.
It's not a marijuana issue, so let's not get sidetracked. It's about this location, opening the first branch, having guards there, giving a security issue, creating this potential. It's a catalyst. So it's not a marijuana issue. I support marijuana use. I don't use it, but I support the use. But I don't support creating a dispensary in this community.
I'm in commercial real estate, and I ran into the First Amendment problems a lot with various uses for various areas and adult men's clubs, things like that down in Orange County and LA. One of the biggest problems the society has gotten into with all the pros and cons of something like this is the fact that we still have a right to do business, and we still have a right to be business people or come into business or buy and work and make a profit and build a business. But the biggest factor is when all this was happening with all these adult men's clubs, because I'm in commercial real estate and I had industrial sites that I wanted to lease these people, the cities had to come to some point, just like this little town here that has no zoning, they had to come to a point where could these people go to structure this business? If it's compliant with the community, if it's compliant with the zoning, which we don't have here, if it's compliant with the uses, then they should have a right to establish a business. And that's my own disparity with maybe the decision. Not saying it's for this community, not saying it's for any community, but there's no area that these people can go to establish a business. And that's our right. That's our right in America. It's a freedom of speech issue, and it's been discussed many times. All the communities in South County, LA, and all those cities have established zoning for men's clubs now, because they're mostly in industrial areas and areas that are away from the population. Now, if this isn't the perfect site for it, maybe the council can suggest a site they can go to. I think it's a business. I think it's a right of Americans.
Yes, sir.
I have no issue with medical marijuana. As a former nurse, I know the usefulness of it. And it's not an issue, I think, of freedom of First Amendment rights to run a business. It's, I think, the freedom of the community to decide what kind of business it wants within its community. And what I see, this was probably the best presentation I've heard.
Yes.
This young lady's very articulate and careful and thoughtful, and I appreciated everything that she's done and is doing. And I appreciate the concerns for wanting that kind of careful distribution of marijuana. But the safety issues, I think, overpower everything else. We do not have the money or the policing force to take care of an industry such as this in this little rural community right on top of the freeway. Easy access and egress, has been a problem from the outset with this project. And I personally think you're making the right decision under our circumstances today.
I have rental houses. Now, if I rent to you, and you use marijuana, you grow marijuana, and you have marijuana, and I condone it, somebody comes in and shoots you, kills you, or a big deal, goes to the sheriff's department, the federal government can come in and seize my house because I condone marijuana. So if you're one of my tenants and I find out you're growing marijuana, the first thing I do is go up to the sheriff's department and say, these people are growing marijuana, go down there and bust them. Now, if the sheriff doesn't want to bust them because there's a conflict between the state law and the federal law, that's not my fault. But I've covered myself, and I've done it a number of times. And right at the present time, I have no problem with these people getting all the marijuana they want. But there is a conflict between the federal and the state government. And the federal government, whether you like it or not, runs this country. And it depends on whether it's the Democrats or Republicans, but it's still the United States Constitution, and the federal government says it's illegal. Now, until the two people sit down and work this out, which they should have done before, but they don't want to do that, you can't give them a marijuana license, I think, to that. Plus, this is, like he said, it's a bad location. Any bank or any place that's right access to the freeway gets robbed, and this place is going to get robbed. And that security system is not going to stop.
Anybody else? Come back to the council. You ready to vote? All those in favor of recommending opposition, raise your hand. 6, 7, 8. All those opposed to the motion? 2, and it passes.
Yeah. Good job. Took you long enough, but good job.